Hey, what's up everybody? Faye here and welcome back to a new video. Today we will be looking over all of the newest additions to Minecraft in the 1.19 Wild update. I will be joined by my friend MorbioTV
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
yeah, we will well, what day was it that the Wild update got released? Was it on the 7th?
Yeah. It
So
was the seventh.
it's the 14th now, so it's been exactly a week since the update's been out. I haven't really played the game enough to know like everything that's been added. So we'll basically just be going through a Google page to see all the additions. It does give me this little paragraph right here, so I guess I'll read it out. It says 1.19. The first release of the Wild update is a major update to Java Edition. Released on June 7th, 2022. I could have just read that and known. What the fuck? Okay. The update was first announced on October 16th, 2021, during Minecraft Live 2021. It introduces brand new locations, materials, and blocks, such as the Deep Dark and mangrove biomes, ancient cities, mobs like the Warden, the Frog, the Tadpole, and the Allay, as well as new items obtainable only in these new biomes. Okay, so it says that the update was first announced in Minecraft Live 2021. That's not just it though. They released like for the not the wild update in general, but they did talk about the Warden, the Deep Dark, and maybe the ancient cities. They talked about all of that. But they were also saying that within the two-parter thing, because that was when they were first talking about 1.17 and 1.18 coming out, the two-part update for the caves and cliffs. They were talking about having the Warden in the Deep Dark back then, but because they couldn't fit that stuff in with the caves and cliffs update, and because they couldn't have it out in time, they decided to hold on to the wild up onto the Warden and the Deep Dark and save it for a different update, and then release everything else in the Caves and Cliffs stuff. So, brand new materials and blocks. They released the Deep Dark and Mangrove biomes. Uh, the Mangrove biomes, I'm pretty sure are the new swamp biomes. And then the Deep Dark is where the Warden lives. And then Ancient Cities. Pretty sure that's also connected to the Warden. And then mobs like the Warden, which we've already heard about. The Frog. I did already hear about the Frogs. I'm pretty sure people voted to get the Frog in Minecraft. The Tadpole I was kind of surprised about. Uh, but it kind of made sense because it was kind of the thing that the frog would. It made sense for that. Then the alley. The alley was the most recent mob vote. Pretty sure uh, Morbio might be able to help me with this. I'm pretty sure it was between the alley, the copper golem, and one other thing. Do you remember what that third thing was?
Uh,
It was the
no.
it was the alley, the copper golem, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's the new blocks. The first one we get to hear about is the frog light, dropped by small magma cubes when they are eaten by frogs. Ooh. So there's things about frogs that I might want to hear about before I get into some of these. Frogs can eat magma cubes? That's interesting. Has three variants: pearlescent, which is purple, verdant, which is green, and ochre, which is yellow. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce those names, but that's how I'm going to until I find the actual way to say it. Which variant is dropped depends on the frog variant that eats the magma cube. Okay. Pearlescent, which is the purple one, is dropped if a white frog eats the magma cube. The verdant or the green frog light is dropped if a green frog eats the magma cube. And then the ochre or yellow frog light is dropped if an orange frog eats the magma cube. And then it emits a light level of 15. So I don't know what level of light is like torches and glowstone and all that, but 15 seems pretty good. Don't you agree, Morbio?
Yeah.
Okay. You're cutting out a little bit, Morbio. But with that out the way, let's go into the next item. It's called the frog spawn. Okay, can you not? Non-solid blocks that can be placed on the surface of water. Disappears when water under the frog spawn is gone. Can't be obtained in survival. Does not drop upon breaking, even with silk touch. So it's basically, it's not an indestructible item, but you can't obtain it in survival. Okay. Laid by frogs after mating, when they are bred with slime balls. Okay, so you feed frogs slime balls and they breed. Okay, good to know about that though. So does that mean that you could also lure a frog with a slime ball? And I also got to figure out if slimes spawn in these new swamp biomes. But I'll figure that out later. Hatches tadpoles after some time. Makes sense. It's called frog spawn. Tadpole variant depends on the biome where it grows into a frog. If I end up getting frogs in my Minecraft world, I would love to get all three. I don't really know what. I'm pretty sure like the green one is in like plains biomes and forest biomes and all that kind of stuff. What was the other two? The white frog might be in like a. I don't think it's in a snow biome because we were playing the game earlier and we were in a snow biome, and when we spawned a frog in, it was green. So I don't think it's a. I don't really know where the white one could be spawned in, but I think the orange one is spawned in like a desert or something. So that's my idea. But with that out the way, let's get into the next item. Mangrove leaves. It's the new leaf variant. The new leaves variant for the new trees that are in the mangrove swamps. Generated in mangrove trees. Okay, I kind of just said that. A decorative block can grow mangrove propagules if pressed with bone meal. Okay, so we will learn about the propagules in a bit, but yeah, it seems pretty interesting. Next one up, mangrove log. Generated as a part of mangrove trees, which are located in mangrove swamps. Can be crafted into mangrove planks and wood. Has a stripped variant as well. I want to see what the stripped variant looks like, because the wood doesn't look bad. It looks like it definitely has potential. I don't really know what I'd use it for yet, but I mean, it's only been out for a week, so it definitely has some kind of future potential. Next one up, mangrove planks. Crafted from mangrove logs, can be used to craft respective slabs, stairs, fences, fence gates, pressure plates, signs, buttons, doors, boats, and trapdoors. Okay, so it's basically like every other wood plank in the game. You with me, Morbio?
Yeah.
Okay. Next item, we're here already. The mangrove propagule. A new type of sapling which grows into a mangrove tree when planted. Well, that's good. That's actually good to know because I did not know that. Because I was always wondering, like, how do you grow those trees? And then I saw the propagoules and I was like, what is that? And why is it here? But now I know it's the sapling. Grows underneath mangrove leaves. Can be grown by applying bone meal to mangrove leaves. Grows from the exposed bottom of it. Propagoules can also grow spontaneously from leaves, but only if they're naturally generated, not player-placed leaves. Have 4 stages to fully grow. Can be accelerated with bone meal. Okay. So do you have to place it on a leaf, though, to grow it into a tree? Or can you place it on the ground and then bone meal it and grow it into a tree? Oh, it's still going. Okay. Can break off a fully grown one and plant it to grow a mangrove tree. Can be planted both on land and underwater. So that answers my question. Can be placed in flower pots. I'd love to be able to see that. Bees can pollinate them. That's good to know. Bees follow players holding them and can be bred with them. So it's a sapling that can also work as a decorative block on leaves, that can also be used as a flower. So that's cool. The next thing up is mangrove roots, which I think is actually the first time we've seen like some sort of tree roots. So that's kind of interesting. A see-through decorative block just like leaves, but can be waterlogged. I don't know what that means, but okay. Water currently doesn't spread outward like the other waterlogged blocks. Mining faster when using axes. Unlike leaves, it does not break when moved by a piston. So it can't be moved. Okay, so it doesn't break. Okay, so if you use a piston, you can just move it, I think. If the roots are waterlogged, the water vanishes. Okay. Can be powered, has unique sounds. Can be powered? What does that even mean? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Next item up is mangrove wood. I'm assuming that's like the logs if you were to combine 4 logs together, which is usually something that nobody cares about. But I digress. Mangrove wood. A new type of wood as well as a stripped variant. Can be used to craft mangrove planks. So it's basically just a scam piece of wood that can be turned into planks that you lose 3 logs for, because I'm pretty sure it just turns into 4 wood planks when you could have kept all 4 of your logs that you used to craft it and then turn it into 16 planks. But you know what, all wood types have that kind of thing going on for it, so you can't really hate on it. But as for the next item, this one is mud. This one I'm kind of interested in, along with the next item we're about to talk about. Found in mangrove swamp biomes, makes sense, can be created by using a water bottle directly or through a dispenser on dirt, coarse dirt, and rooted dirt. Oh, so you can turn so it's kind of like real life. You can use water to turn dirt into mud. That's actually kind of interesting. That's good to know. Can be converted into clay by placing mud above a block which has a pointed dripstone underneath. The dripstone dries it out, producing a clay block. So if you find a mangrove swamp and find some mud, you can have like a clay farm, at least until you run out of mud. So that's interesting to know, especially with how expensive bricks are and how hard it is to find clay. So it's good to know they made a new way of getting it. This in turn enables renewable clay in Bedrock Edition. Clay is already renewable in Java Edition. Wait, what? I don't know what that means, but I'm sure the Bedrock players are happy about that. So yeah, when walking on mud, entities sink down a bit. So it's kind of like Soul Sand. Like Soul Sand, but without the slowdown. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but I digress. The next item, which I'm also kind of excited about, is mud bricks. Can be crafted from 4 packed mud. Is that the last item we talked about? No, that's just mud. Can be crafted from 4 packed mud. Can be crafted into mud brick slabs, stairs, and walls using a crafting table or stone cutter. So it's basically just the mud version of stone bricks. Makes sense. Muddy mangrove roots. So there's muddy versions of the mangrove roots. Is that all they are? Found in mangrove swamp biomes. Can be crafted from 1 mud and 1 mangrove root. This is a full block, not like lichen. Unlike regular roots, they are an opaque block that can't be waterlogged, mining faster when using shovels. Okay, so it's basically just the mangrove roots with mud in it. I don't know what lichen is, but yeah. Sorry guys, I left my Xbox on in the background, so if you heard that notification, then my bad. Next item up though is packed mud. Can be crafted from 1 mud and 1 wheat. I didn't know that's how you got packed mud, and I'm glad I know that now. Can be used to craft mud bricks. Okay, so we already knew about that thanks to the last thing. But this next item I'm actually kind of interested in hearing about. It's called Reinforced Deep Slate. I was messing around with it a little bit, and it looks pretty cool. But, yeah, let's just read into it. A new block only found in ancient cities, shaped like a large frame. It is unobtainable in survival mode. Well, that sucks. You can't use it to build. It doesn't even look like a portal type of block. I'm pretty sure it is. It is not craftable. Can be broken, but won't drop anything, even with silk touch. So it's kind of like that last item we were talking about earlier. What was it? It was, what was it? Oh, it was frog spawn. So it's unobtainable in survival. It's completely blast resistant, is immune to withers and ender dragons, and takes an incredibly long amount of time to mine. Which they give you a time? 82.5 seconds. That would be like, what, a minute and a half of just mining? Which is almost 9 times longer than obsidian with a diamond pickaxe. That's insane. And then cannot be moved with pistons. Yeah, considering I'm pretty sure this is a portal block. I mean, Morbio and I were messing around with it, and I'm pretty sure we tried building a portal with it. I don't think you can build the portal. I think you have to find it in the, what was it called? The ancient city. But I'm pretty sure you just can't craft it. But the next item is the Skulk. Generates in the deep dark biome. Has an animated texture. Drops only experience when broken without silk touch. Does not drop anything or experience when blown up with TNT. Activates nearby skulk cell sensors and shriekers even when wool is placed on it. If too many skulk shriekers activate, wardens may emerge from the skulk blocks. Skulk blocks grow when a mob dies near a skulk catalyst. Speaking of skulk catalyst, it's the next item. Generates in the deep dark biome, emits soul particles after a mob dies within 8 blocks, and grows skulk related blocks. I was noticing that when I was playing with Morbio on our world, that the mobs that you kill had to be within a certain range of the skulk catalyst to grow the skulk blocks. And I was wondering what the hell was happening. Spread skulk blocks to wherever a nearby mob dies. The amount it spreads depends on the amount of experience the mob is meant to drop. The amount of it. Okay, so like the smaller the animal, the smaller the amount it spreads, basically. Even if the mob doesn't drop experience as it wasn't killed by a player, the blocks would still spread based on the amount of experience it normally drops. Experience does not drop in these cases. The charge decays over time, faster the farther away from the catalyst it moves. If a charge decays more than 4 blocks away from the catalyst, it has a chance of creating either a Skulk sensor, 90%, or a Skulk Shrieker, 10%. If a charge decays more than 24 blocks away from the catalyst, it merely vanishes. Okay. Drops only experience when broken without Silk Touch. Emits a light level of 6. Blooms when activated. Can spread Skulk only on blocks in the Skulk replaceable tag. Okay. So it emits a light level of 6. I don't know whether it was 1.17 or 1.18, but I know in one of those two updates, they released when they released the update, they added, part of the update was that if the light level was 0, then mobs would spawn. If it was higher than 0, no mobs would spawn. So the light level of 6 means that probably no mobs will spawn down there unless you activate the warden. Alright, let's get to the item that the Skulk Catalyst mentioned. The Skulk Shrieker. Generates in the Deep Dark biome. Has 2 soul-shaped patterns in the center. Can shriek, emitting ring-like / sonic particles. Is activated by a Skulk sensor, redstone signal, or player stepping. Skulk Shriekers summon wardens only if there isn't one within 48 blocks. Gives players the darkness effect when activated. Oh, so the warden doesn't have a blindness effect. It's the Skulk Shrieker. So if you were to spawn the warden in and then break the Skulk Shrieker, would you still have the darkness effect when it goes away? Like, will it continue happening, or will the warden give it to you? It's a good question, but we won't be able to find that out in a while. If activated 3 times, a warden is summoned from the ground. Player has 4 levels of warning level, or 0 to 3, every time activated. The levels increased by 1 and never decrease. If a player has successfully summoned a warden, only 1 attempt is required to summon a warden next time. Drops only experience when broken without Silk Touch. Has a can summon block state, which determines whether it can summon a warden and give the player darkness or not. Set to true by default for Skulk Shriekers placed via World Gen. Set to false by default for Skulk Shriekers placed by a player or generated via Skulk Spread. Okay, so determines. Okay, so whether or not it can summon a warden and give the player darkness or not, it's automatically set to false if it's either spread around because of the Skulk stuff, or if a player is placing it down. Otherwise, it's automatically summoning wardens and giving the player darkness, which is good to know. I did watch PewDiePie's video before the update came out, where he picked up a Skulk Shrieker, brought it to his base, and placed it down in his base, and then the warden spawned. So I think it's because he was playing on a what's it called? He was playing on a snapshot. So maybe because they didn't have everything ready yet, and they didn't have everything implemented yet, so maybe that's why that happened when it wasn't supposed to, according to this. But yeah. Anyways, let's get on to the next item called the Skulk Vein. Generates in the deep dark biome on the edge of skulk patches. Generates in a layer on top of blocks similar to snow. Can be placed in all directions like glow lichen. I don't really know what this glow lichen is, but I probably should look it up. Has an animated texture. Drops nothing when broken without silk touch. Some have parts that are transparent, allowing the player to see the block it is on top of. Can be waterlogged. I'm pretty sure we were seeing the skulk veins pop up because when we were messing around with the sensors and the catalyst and all of that, and that stuff was spreading, I'm pretty sure the skulk veins were part of what was spreading. So, yeah, that's kind of cool to know. The next item is the bucket of tadpole. So it's basically just a tadpole in a bucket. Added bucket of tadpole can be obtained by catching a tadpole using a water bucket. So it's basically just the tadpole version of catching an axolotl or a type of fish in a bucket. It's basically the same thing. You got that, Morbio? Okay, so we're not gonna go into the... Okay, we don't have too much longer to go through. Next thing up is the disc fragment. I was confused when I saw this. But, yeah, so a fragment of the music disc 5, which can be crafted into the disc, can be obtained only from the chests in the ancient cities. They are extremely rare and hard to obtain. So, will the music disc say how many is needed to craft the music disc? Or is that just going to be up to speculation until people get the opportunity to craft it? Guess we'll figure out later. Next item is Echo Shard. Can be found only in loot chests in ancient cities. Can be used to craft recovery compasses. We're probably going to learn more about recovery compasses later on in this list, but I'm pretty sure I already know what they do. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure that's the only use for the Echo Shard. It's just the recovery compasses. So, maybe if they make like a block or something, because if they do make a block, that would be really badass of a block, and I'll probably actually use it. So yeah, next item is the goat horn. Drops when a goat rams coal ore, copper ore, emerald ore, iron ore, log, packed ice, or stone. Can play a loud sound that can be heard from afar, with a cooldown around 7 seconds between each use. Has 8 variants. Each variant has its own unique sound. Ponder, sing, seek, feel can be obtained from the regular goats, ramming, or chests and pillager outposts with a 50% chance. Ooh, so these are the goat horns, or at least the first 4, have a chance to be pillager outpost loot, which is great considering pillager outposts have kind of become useless over the years. They just they give you some they usually give you a crossbow, some carrots, and then a couple other basic items. But now that they added the goat horns, that might make me want to go after pillager raids more. Well, pillager outposts, not really the raids. But admire, call, yearn, dream can be obtained only from the screaming goats ramming. The variant of horn that a goat may drop is completely random. Oh, so I thought at first, when I heard that it has to ram certain blocks, I thought that the type of block that it rammed into would match up with each goat horn variant. But hold on, how many blocks are there? Coal ore, copper ore, emerald ore, iron ore, log, packed ice, stone. Oh, that wouldn't work anyway. There's 8 variants and there's 7 blocks. So, yeah, that's good to know that it's completely random. At least you can get the first 4 in, pillager outposts. So I'll probably just go hunting down those. Even though I don't really find more than 1 every world I play. But, you know. The next type of item is mangrove boat, which is a new type of boat crafted with mangrove planks. It's basically just the mangrove version of a boat, so it really doesn't matter. There is something to do with a boat, I'm pretty sure that's in this list, that has come out, so I won't say anything until I get to that, but yeah. So the next thing is Music Disc 5, a new music disc by Samuel Aberg titled 5, obtained by restoring it from a fragmented state. Can be obtained only through crafting by using 9 disc fragment 5s. Track is similar to 11. Okay, I did listen to part of 5 when I was playing with Morbio, and it does seem similar to 11, so I'll give them that. So it also does give us the crafting recipe. We need to get 9 disc fragments to be able to craft the music disc. I'm pretty sure that's the only music disc that we can craft instead of have to get a skeleton to kill a creeper or go loot a certain place. I mean, I'm sure we could probably also find the music disc, right? Or no? Do we have... Oh, we have to restore it, I guess. It does say that. But anyways, the next item is the recovery compass. A new type of compass which can point to the last place where the player died. Randomly spins if not held by a player. The player hasn't died, or when the player is not in the same dimension of the death point. Can be crafted with a compass surrounded by 8 echo shards. So basically the recovery compass is useless if you're in hardcore, or if you've never died before. The recovery compass will be useful though. I mean, if you die and then you get back to your base and craft a recovery compass, it's not going to teleport you back to your items, but if you follow it correctly, it should send you to the last place you died at, which is kind of useful. It's probably, and as I said earlier, I'm pretty sure it's the only use of echo shards so far. So, I mean, I heard that they were going to have an echo shard using goat horn, but I heard they scrapped that in the final making. So, yeah. And then the spawn eggs for the new mobs, which we're about to look into. The ally spawn egg, the frog spawn egg, the tadpole, and the warden. So the first mob is the ally, voted to be in the update during Minecraft Live 2021. That was the 2021 vote? I did not know that. I thought it was 2022 voting, but okay. You can find dropped blocks or items for a player, collecting the same items from the world as it holds in its hand. Picks up dropped items in loaded chunks and can carry up to a stack at a time, and cannot duplicate items or take items out of chests. It drops its collected items when in range of a note block. If holds an item it got from a player, it follows that player up to a distance of 64 blocks away. It can be made to hold an item by interacting with the ally, pressing use. The item can also be removed by interacting with the ally, pressing use, while with an empty hand. Able to drop items at nearby note blocks and stay close to a note block that has been played near them. When playing a note block near them, that note block becomes their favorite one for 30 seconds, and they attempt to drop off items at the note block rather than at the player. Connecting with note blocks is visualized by the vibration particle. Connecting with note blocks can be blocked by wool, by placing wool between the ally and the note block. If they have items in their inventory, they attempt to give them to their owner. Sometimes spawn in cages next to pillager outposts, similar to iron golems, which I saw that earlier. When I was playing, I did see, there were 3 of them in a single cell. So yeah, there's something cool about that. And inside woodland mansions, inside woodland mansion jail cells, which I've been wondering what those were used for. Last time I checked that out, last time I checked out a woodland mansion, the only thing that popped up in a jail cell was sometimes a creeper. So it's cool to know that allies will now pop up in there. Has a delay for picking new items after delivering items 3 seconds. So it's a 3-second delay for picking a new item. Immune to damage from its owner while holding an item. Has 20 HP or 10 health points, and a natural health regeneration of 2 hearts per second, or 4 HP per second. So, about the alley, I knew that it followed you around if you gave it something, but I did not know that it interacted, like, it like held like up to a stack of a certain item, and it drops its collected items when in range of a note block. Like, I didn't know it had a relationship with note blocks, so that's actually good to know. So that could be that I think they did that because I forgot what the item was called, but they were meant to release an item that was supposed to be like an extra storage item that you could actually put in your inventory that held a stack of a certain item in it. Well, it held up to a stack worth of items. So because they couldn't release that in this update, they probably just released the alley and added that mechanic in. But onto the frog. Comes in 3 variants: temperature, warm, and cold. The temperature variant is orange, the warm variant is white, and the cold variant is green. So we kind of already talked about that when we were up there talking about the other stuff. But yeah, can croak, jump, swim, and slowly walk on land. I love the way that the frogs walk, by the way. It's so hilarious looking. They can croak. I never really paid attention to their croaking, but I did notice them do jumping and walking. I didn't really pay attention to them swim either. Can jump over 5 blocks. That's also good to know. Frogs are faster in water than on land. That's kind of obvious. Prefer to jump to lily pad and big drip leaf. So you could actually like do a farm or like a nice like little enclosure with them and just put lily pads and big drip leaf. Or if you have lily pads and big drip leaves in your world and you don't have slime balls, you could just lead them to a certain place with like, you probably could with lily pads and big drip leaf by just like putting a path down with lily pads or something. Are able to target specific mobs as food using a base attack strength of 10. Eats small slimes, dropping slime balls. Eats small magma cubes, dropping frog lights. Can be tempted and bred using slime balls. Lay eggs on water after mating. So they're kind of like sea turtles, except instead of laying their eggs on land like sea turtles, they lay their eggs in water, like what sea turtles should be doing. They grow from tadpoles. That makes sense. Variants depend on the temperature of the biome it turns from a tadpole to a frog in. They have 10 hearts. Okay. So they basically have the same amount of HP as a player. I did not know that they jumped over 5 blocks. And it's also interesting to know that they eat small slimes and magma cubes for you. So you could just bring one with you on a lead or something and go like slime and magma cube farming. And what I wonder about this thing though is if they end up eating slimes or magma cubes and dropping the slime balls and frog lights, well, for the slime ball one, would it give you a boosted amount of slime balls, or would it just be like more or less, well, like the same amount or less than what you would get if you just went out and killed it yourself? It's a good question. I really want to know about that. But next up is the tadpole. Grows up into a frog 20 minutes after birth. which can be sped up using slime balls. Oh, so it's kind of like what used to happen with horses. Because I remember when horses first came out, when it was a baby, you could like speed up the growing process with bread. That's what I used to do. Or at least that's what my sister used to do, and I used to like watch her do that. Frog type depends on which temperature it grows in. We already knew about that. But grows up into a frog 20 minutes after birth. It's kind of cool. Can be held in a water bucket. We already knew that. Jump around like fish when on land and eventually die. I kind of already knew that thanks to me playing earlier. Panics on land and pathfinds to a nearby water source. Well, considering what it was doing when I was messing with it, I doubt that. Are hunted down by axolotls. Also panics if there are axolotls nearby. So that's interesting. So it's kind of like other fish in that kind of sense. Because other fish are also hunted down by axolotls. And then tadpoles have 6 hearts. Okay. That's good to know. Oh shit. I think I just figured out why this damn page is so fucking long. Pretty sure a quarter of it is just for the warden. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. There's too much on the warden. Where was it? I saw the item I wanted to talk about though. Non-mob entities. I want to talk about this real quick before I go into the warden. The boat with chest. Similar to a minecart with chest, but with a boat instead of a minecart. So the player can take a journey on the water and carry things. Can hold only one entity, crafted by combining a chest with any boat. Comes in different wood plank variants, including the dark oak, jungle, and the newly added mangrove wood plank variant. Opening its inventory or breaking it makes nearby adult piglins angry. Breaking it drops itself and all its items. So it's basically just a minecart with chest, except with a boat, and you can get in the boat with the chest in there. So it's basically just a better minecart with chest that you put in the water. The only thing that I didn't know about it is the bottom 2 points. Opening its inventory or breaking it makes nearby adult piglins angry. That I would have never guessed that. I did know that. I'm pretty sure boats are lava proof, so it could be a good thing to bring boats into the nether, because if you need to travel through lava, I'm pretty sure boats could actually work. So a boat with a chest could actually be a really good way to get through the nether and hold some items. Opening its inventory and then breaking it drops itself and all its items. That could make it used as a replacement for a shulker. So if that's actually how it works, then that's an OP fucking item. Because people could just replace it for shulkers, or like replace shulkers with that. Even though they don't need to use a boat with chest, they might use it anyways just because breaking it will drop itself and all its items. So I might be actually excited to use that item. I don't really want to look into the warden because we kind of already know a lot about it. Plus it's like a quarter of the fucking page. So yeah, first fully blind mob, we already knew that. Stumbles as it walks because it's blind, makes sense. Has a sense of smell, yeah, I'm pretty sure all blind people have all their senses boosted whenever they go blind, so that makes sense. What the fuck? Prioritizes smelling the player or mob that it is most suspicious of rather than the one closest to it. That's fucking weird. That's bullshit mechanics, but you know what, I'll go with it. Has a sense of vibration, yeah, that makes sense. It follows and attacks players, mobs, and other entities. Yeah, I saw that. It does not attack other wardens. Yeah, I know that. When it detects a vibration, the growth on its head rattle and light up. similar to the skulk sensor. Did not know that, but cool to know. Seems to follow the same rules as the skulk sensor when detecting vibrations. Okay, if any projectile lands near it, the warden expects the location where the projectile landed due to the projectile creating significant vibration. This feature can be used in order to cause a distraction. Yeah, so I might end up doing that. So like throwing an egg, throwing a snowball, or shooting an arrow could distract the warden for you to try to get a cheap shot off. Does not detect players that are sneaking. I'm pretty sure I heard something about that, but that's good to know. Can detect players or mobs that have the invisibility effect. Yeah, that makes sense. It is blind, so I don't know why that would work. Becomes more suspicious of a player or mob as it detects its location more through vibrations and or smelling. When it suspects the target enough and identifies its exact location, which aggravates it, causing it to pathfind towards the target to attack regardless of outside distractions. Spawns in the deep dark biome, we already knew that. It is the only mob that spawns in the deep dark, already knew that. Emerges from the ground when spawned by skull shriekers. Okay, think we already knew that. Digs back into the ground when it doesn't sense any vibration after 60 seconds. Like how name tags prevent despawning, name tags can also prevent wardens from being able to burrow back to the ground. Wardens do not dig back when they're in water. Okay. A mob designed to be extremely difficult, intended to be avoided and fled from. Has 250 hearts or 500 health points and does 30 damage on normal difficulty, bringing players wearing full netherite armor from full health to 7 health. So that's like... So it does 13 damage, in other words, to someone with netherite armor. That's insane. Wardens also disable shields when they hit the player with their fists, and are at least as fast as a walking player. So you